Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday, May 24th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and I am still here it might be sunny today in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. I don't know. It's been pretty rainy, but the afternoons have been nice, but you're not here for a weather report. Let's just continue onward. We broke below my support line of 5307. Excuse me. So here's the question. If you're in a buy the dip formation and you look at the price action and you go, okay, I know today's buy the dip. And we normally have a dip formation. When do I know that the dip might be larger and it might take me into deeper edges? This is a key event here. And so this teaches us how to keep on the right side of the trade while limiting risk. So here's something very, very interesting. When you take a look at this, and honest to goodness, you know what I would do? If you haven't replicated these on your charts, take a snapshot and draw the lines. You draw the 5271, you draw the 5307, and so on and so forth. And here's what you do. If you come in and you have, this is the big bounce from the NVIDIA event, and then it begins to fade. So here's what you have to look at. You have to go, okay, where are the buyers completely in control? They're completely in control above that support zone. It looks like resistance here, but if it moves up there, it becomes support. If it loses it again, it becomes resistance. So when 5350 gets lost, you know something's going on. Well, how do you know that? Well, you know it by starting on the daily charts first. Just like you know in the evening time, when 5271 came in, thereabouts, one, you're almost right on top of the exponential moving average, and two, it's the same line that I gave us from old resistance, right? And that's all I'm doing. Old resistance, new support. Now that we touch the line, then we say, okay, what normally happens if I have a strong trend and my moving average is up and I come back to test it, what normally happens? I reverse immediately. Take a look. This isn't particularly strong, but it tells the story. Look what happens. Downward moving average, downward momentum. Comes into there, what does it do? Immediately rejects. That's what we should assume because that's how technical analysts trade these moving averages. And so have a look. It goes down here. It additionally fades all the way down here and then turns around and moves right back up. And by then, the moving average is flat. Okay, and the momentum is a little. So it tells us, all right, I'm going to move up and down, and up and down, up and down, until it moves over again. So long explanation there, but if you're getting yourself chopped up, it's because of risk. And so what risk has to do is you've got to minimize it. And the way you minimize it is by going to the big picture and saying, wait, where will the buyers stay in control? Because I know it's a buy the dip there. As long as the buyers stay completely in control, I'm okay. But if they don't, I have to pay attention to what's going on. And that's where that 2-hour chart is going to help us during the day, or a 30-minute. You just don't want it to be so tight that you're long and you're short and you're long and you're short, unless you're into that, okay? But here's what happens. Here's 53.49. Look at where it breaks. At the 8:30 candlestick, 8 to 8:30 where that news comes in, I can't even remember what news it was. It might be China, Taiwan, shenanigans, whatever. I don't think that's real. But, I mean, sorry, I don't want to talk politics. So, here we are, moving here. Support, look what happens at this support zone, 53.25. Bounce, but look what it bounces into. A downward sloping VWAP and a downward sloping moving average. You can see, oh, they're not getting up above 53.49, 53.50. And now I have a downward sloping moving average, a downward sloping VWAP, and downward momentum. Okay, so what are we looking at today? We're looking at a downward sloping moving average on the 2-hour, a downward sloping momentum. And so what's going to happen here? It's going to bounce and they're going to sell off. Now, if they sell off and the VWAP stays up, it's still a buy the dip formation, right? Upward VWAP, buy the dip. Okay, and so that's what we're looking at with the ES. Let's go quickly through the others. I just want to show you that mechanical motion to help you through your day because the levels are very good, folks. I mean, I've been doing them for a long time, and literally all I do is go, where did everybody stop buying? Oh, yeah, there. That must be resistance. Ooh, where did everybody start buying? Oh, yeah, that must be support. Oh, look, they're the same number. Over and over again. What happens in between, though? Squishy, stretched out parts, pulls down into deeper support. So you have to let the chart take hold and prove itself out. You must let the chart prove itself out. You know, some folks use a 3-minute. I love the way Coach Jay trades in Top Step TV. He's very deliberate. He's just one of my absolute faves. Totally. And then I'm going to have Coach Vince on with me on Strategy Lab coming soon. The producer, Tim Mitchell, promised that he would get that. So I'm very, very excited about that. We're going to break through a lot of his volume analysis because he called this collapse into a brand new low yesterday. His eyes could see it so clearly. So we are going to look at those pictures and find out how he did that because, I can see what's going on. Holding it down through the deepest level is often the challenge for me. And he could see that coming a mile off. So what are we looking at today? Bounce off of 18,685 into what? 758. Is that real resistance? Not really. We're inside of this candlestick. So we're inside range and inside value. That's what John would tell us. And so it says it'll be choppy. Now, it's still by the dip, right? It's still by the dip. However, if we have a bounce, and we cannot stay up over 18,800, the sellers in the direction of the VWAP are going to be in control. But guess what? See this momentum? It's positive. So there are buyers lurking under here. My thought is if reversion to the mean is going to occur for the NQ, like it did the ES, might be doing the same sort of thing. If it holds, we're going to have our sideways formation. You can see clearly we are inside of this channel, right? Absolutely. Let's take a look at the YM. Whoa, weakest of the bunch. That's a very big tell. That is a very, very big tell. So what's it doing? It broke the 14 under positive momentum. Now the momentum has shifted negative. It's here at support. What are they trying to do? Get up through the 50% edge of this candlestick, right? Otherwise, I'm guessing it's going to go here. Further down into 38,632. Above that, 38,958. Okay, but the bounces, very likely to be sell zones here, but they are bounces. Let's take a look. The dips are buys in the grand scheme. So what are we waiting for? We're waiting for a test of 39,330, 39,400, somewhere in this noise, and then a fade that holds the VWAP as frontline support. That's what's happening. Right now, we're going down into the third volatility band before we get, well, that's really the second volatility band because that's the VWAP and center. That volatility band there before we're finding buyers. So a little bit sticky here, a little bit tight. Pullbacks, buy zones, as long as we hold the low of the overnight. You could try to buy that low, moving up into the chain. They're going to be sellers here. All right, let's take a look at SPY. Taking a look at SPY, 2 hours, same thing. Look, higher lows, but inside of this very nasty candlestick, what's the trend? Downward slope, downward momentum. It's in a reversion to the mean. So where are sellers going to be? Somewhere between 527 and 529, right? You want to buy the dip? Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine as long as you hold the floor. If I were going to buy the dip, I would wait for a double bottom or a breach of the moving average, that 14 moving average, and a pullback that gives me a higher low. Very sticky price formations right here, right? Because it could still be coming down to test the exponential moving average of 14 down here at 524 to 523. Or it could go all the way back up here. This is very sideways. The big picture is sideways, and so the small pictures will have directions and possibilities in both areas. But we do want to see, if we're bullish, we want to see the hold of the 527 into 529, and then we'll go back to 530. Else, we reject the 529, and we pull back and move closer to the exponential moving average down there at, 525-ish. Let's take a look at the Qs. They've been the stronger ones of the bunch, right? Here we are. Old resistance, new support, rocketed up through this halfway point. Did it get to it got to 461. Holy smokes, right? And then faded all the way down. Look at this clean line, right? You don't put your order out and wait. You wait, let it go through the levels, and then when it recaptures, you put your order out so you know exactly what kind of risk you're into. Because the buyers down here will set the floor. They will set the floor. And so that punch up into 457, potentially there, but it could also be coming back into here. This is a sideways formation. You're trapped inside of another candlestick, and so it can go in either direction. Volatility of intraday motion can shred you in a space like this. All right, listen, that's it. Spent 14 minutes talking about that. Way too much time, but good luck, and I'll see you on the platforms.